Hey YouTube, what's going on? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update today of Bitcoin. This is going to be Bitcoin USD on the 4 hour. Right now, Bitcoin is at 7,453. And guys, this is what we've been talking about, how those candles were getting really small and the break ended up coming. And what it's looking like now is we're almost having one of those bear flag breakdowns. You can see how we had support all along this area as we were bouncing back and forth between roughly, we'll call it about $7,800 and around $8,800, right in that range. And guys, what happened was we broke down through on significant volume. So this break wasn't just something where we broke and we didn't have a lot of volume. When you break to the downside with a lot of volume, that can show a very powerful break to the downside, because alone, guys, you can still have a significant break to the downside even if it's not on the most volume. It's not like when you're in an uptrend and you need that volume to push the price up. Bitcoin or stocks or whatever can fall on their own. Basically, you have to have that volume to push them up. So when you have a break to the downside on big volume, it's even that much more significant. And what I want to do today, guys, is look at a couple things with you. It's going to be a quicker video, but if you get something out of this and you watch last night's video where we were talking about the 9-week and the 9-week and the 20-week EMA having that downward cross, you would have anticipated that something like this was going to take place. So take a look at that video from yesterday, guys. It's just looking at Bitcoin and the health in the long term. So if you get something out of this, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I appreciate you all being here with me today, guys. On the 4-hour chart here, and this is significant, a lot of people watch the 4-hour chart, we're below the 50-day moving average and we're below that 200-day moving average, and they're really pressing down hard on us. Same with on the 1-day chart, we're below that 200, we're below that 50, and this is where we've talked about paying attention to these moving averages. When you're finding support off the 50 and off the 200 in an uptrend, it's great to be able to go long, but when you're underneath this, investors or traders are looking at it and they're saying, why would I go long when I have the 50-day moving average and that 200-day moving average acting as overhead resistance? Guys will short off that, so you're just switching your theory. But this is why we always talk about having a plan for that upside and the downside. Guys, it's so important. So now what we're going to look for is to see how low we may go from a break like this. So if we're basically doing a measured move on a bear flag here, guys, we'll roughly go the length of this mast here when we broke down on heavy volume. What we'll do is go from our breakdown spot there, and this is just very rough estimate. Guys, this would put us down around about that $5,300 to $5,500 range if this bear flag plays out like many other ones have played out before, where you basically have the same amount that you had at this pole here, you have it to the downside. Then we had this month-long consolidation, then another big leg down. So that's something I'm going to look at. Now, if it doesn't come to fruition with that, guys, what I'm going to be looking at here is some support areas. First one I'm going to be looking at is exactly where we're at right now. Right there, and that's going to be around $7,459. So this is a previous area where we found support off the 200 moving average. And remember, guys, when I say 200-day moving average, I meant the 200 on the 4-hour. So the 4-hour 200-day or the 4-hour 50 moving average is what I'm talking about. So I apologize if I was saying day. We're on the 4-hour chart here. Just want to put that out there to you. But also, we're going to be looking at the 0.618 Fibonacci region, and we're going to see if we can get a bounce off that. If we just blow down through that, guys, then most likely we're going to be going down to that 0.786 very fast. So we are coming up on that 0.618. That's going to be at $7,237. So we need to see what we do with that. If we just cut right through that and keep dropping low, then, guys, I would really look around that $5,500 range, see if we can find some type of bounce off this area right now. Now, in terms of looking at the RSI is at 18. So we would expect some type of little bounce, and that's what we need to watch, guys, how hard we bounce in this area. So we're getting to oversold conditions, and you know that the bulls are going to step in. We're going to get a quick little relief bounce, and what I want to see is if we relief bounce back up and we can get up into this trend line right here, or if this is just going to be a really weak one, or we move to the sideways and then just dump again. Because if we get a very weak bounce here and it only comes up to this area, you know, maybe 7,500, right around that, 7,588, we definitely could fall down much harder. But if we get a strong bounce, that's going to be something different, and we'd want to see if we can come up and back test this previous area here that we broke down out of. Let me change that for a second, because it's important, guys. Remember, when you break out down through things and it's on good volume like that, about half the time you'll actually come back and back test that, and then you'll fall farther. Sometimes you can get back up in there, but other times you will actually end up falling farther. So that's important to watch what we do with this bounce, guys. That's the thing I'm looking for. And pay attention to these moving averages acting as overhead resistance. Those are the main things that I can tell you. We're going to watch to see if we get some type of reaction bounce. We're at 18 on the RSI right now on the 4-hour chart, so we are getting pretty deep in those oversold territories. We have been as low before as, let me see here, just recently. Let's take a look. We'll pull our RSI up. So we can get as low as, we've been down to 5 before, so I mean there could be even more room to go to the downside. But while you have those reactions, the bulls will step in, you'll ride it up, and that basically cools off the RSI from being so oversold, gives it a little more room, then it dumps down harder is what happens a lot of the time. So, you know, guys, that's why I just wanted to put this stuff on your radar and have you be cautious of it. Right now, I am in a short position. I got in at $8,100, and I have a break-even stop right now, and I'm going to be slowly moving it down throughout the day, depending on what I'm seeing. That's what I like to do, guys. You know, whenever I start to get in some profit, first I'll go to the break even, and then I'll start chasing it down farther, and I'll keep moving that stop loss down, 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 down. And then when I'm ready to take profits, I'll take profits. Or if I'm out of the house, then you know what? You're in profit, you get stopped out. That's the way to go. But when we were looking at this break in the video I was showing you yesterday, guys, I jumped in. I had a very tight stop loss and said, you know what, I think it's going to go to the downside, and it ended up going to the downside. So now what we're going to have to see is where we're going to find support, where I want to end up covering my short. Just to tell you guys, I'm just giving you information for the people who are still here, how I like to play this. So when I'm ready to cover my short, like I said, I'll just use that trailing stop loss. We'll look for a good area where we typically find support, and then see what type of candle formations we're having off there. How's the volume? How's the indicators? All that type of stuff. That's how I like to play it. And then, guys, I'll jump on the other side and I'll go long. I really have no emotion. Obviously, I want Bitcoin to go up in the long term, but I have no emotion. I'll short it. I'll long it. I'll stay out of it. I have no problem doing any of it anymore. You know, and that's the beauty of when you can learn to play both sides of the market. All you need is volatility like we're experiencing now. So let me know down low, guys. Let me know if you were in a short, if you're waiting for a long position, a good spot to buy. I want to hear what you guys are doing. I appreciate you being here with me today. Remember, like we talked about, we're just still in that, you know, downtrend, and we're in an intermediate downtrend, and we're trying to not let it turn into that long-term downtrend, guys, because then, you know, it'll just even get uglier. So pay attention, be safe. God bless you all.